Hi, Drew.
Hello, how are you?
I am good, and thank you so much for that introduction.
Oh, well, it's funny. I was reading about how the word and nickname Sunshine Girl was something given to you by your mom, and you always felt like you had to live up to it, even though you wore it as a badge of honor. I was wondering, I always opt for optimism, no matter how hard it is to get there. I will get there. What was it like to grow up with a moniker like Sunshine Girl?
Yeah, so I think it's both such a blessing and a curse at the same time because very, um, I felt very important with that moniker because I thought I made people happy, and that was a good thing to be labeled Sunshine Girl. Where it didn't serve me well was that I then never felt like I could complain or say, this doesn't feel good, I don't like this, and then as I grew up and in my relationships I sort of became mute because I would rather not ruffle anyone's feathers, not stir the mud. And, it took me a long time, probably till I was 35, to really say, this isn't working for me. It's Sunshine Girl, an unexpected life, because truly I came from such a crazy life of chaos and never knowing where I was going to be, where I was going to live, what country, what language I would be speaking, what boyfriends my mother would be having, that an unexpected life is truly the moment I'm living in now.
I'm just going to straight up say that I relate to a lot of areas of your life, and I grew up too, never knowing where I was going to be next. Why do you think that made you adaptable? Do you think that it made you have a lack of stability and everything in between? How did it affect your life?
Yeah, there was definitely a lack of stability, that's for sure. I mean, I have to say the amount of people that have responded in terms of being able to relate to what I was going through as a child, it might not have been as chaotic and crazy, but it is an amazingly universal thing when you are from divorced parents who really, I shouldn't, I mean, my mother, who I have a great relationship with now, I always really have. I was always sort of a mama's girl, and I was always trying to defend her. But my mother put herself before her children. And she'll tell me that now. She admits it. It's why I could write the book. I had her blessing to write the book because she really owns what she did when she was younger. And that's pretty remarkable too. We were at her whim, and that's hard as a child, and you have no control over that. What I did have control over was the temperature in the room, emotional temperature in the room. I felt like I could actually change it, by being sunny and happy. And I don't think we realize that our parents are just human beings too, until I got older and realized, oh, I don't have to carry that baggage anymore. I can actually make my own life now. They can be a part of where I got to, but now it's up to me to continue that journey.
I think the generations are so different too. Like my mom, and we just had the oddest dynamic, no parent-child dynamic, really just two equals. I saw us as like Chaplin and the kid, and we were just kind of always like making our way and doing our thing, and there was no parent-child dynamic. But I don't think in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you were supposed to put your kids first. And now we're in a generation of like almost trying to get out of helicopter parenting. And the expectations in society are just so different. I mean, women like smoked and drank when they were pregnant, and now you can't eat deli meats. It's like, it's a very different time, I mean.
You have a great point. That's a great point, Drew, and you're absolutely right. It was a very different time.
Yeah, I want my girls to, I'd like them to go travel by themselves, which, scares me as a parent, but you just got to, like, if I was dropped all over the world at crazy ages and just been, go, and there was no GPS and cell phones at that point, so, and
Right.
it builds character, and I just wanted them to have that great, stable life. which is why I did not marry an actor, with all due respect to actors. I was like, I'm
well,
an
me too, Drew, me too.
I know. I love actors so much, and we'll talk about George Clooney, who might be one of the most amazing human beings to ever be on planet Earth. You know him far better than I do, but I felt like representing one actor in the house was enough. I was really looking for the antidote and stability, and you met your husband, Keith, and I heard that you were at a party with him, and when he told you his occupation, it was a turn on. Is this true? Am I putting this in the right terms?
Yeah, I went to a party, and it was an agent's party, and so he said, and he represented a lot of theater actors, so I just assumed that Keith was an actor because he was there. And then when he told me he was a lawyer, wow, my life changed. We haven't been apart since.
Oh, I love that. Speaking of George Clooney, I loved reading in the book about your relationship. I think he's so fun and cool. He's also a practical joker, which I don't do well with, I have to admit. I'm not good.
I don't either.
He did one to you. Many, I'm sure, but can you tell me about one?
There were moments where he would, so on ER, everything was real, all the equipment. And so there was a lot of lube everywhere. You have to put the gel on to use the defibrillator, you had to use it, so everything was real. And you'd be in a scene where you're doing a oneer and you're walking and the camera's following you, and then you have to go and pick up the phone, and you would go and pick up the phone and it would just all be lubed, but you didn't want to ruin the shot because it had been a 5-page oneer, and you would just have lube all down your face. I mean, it was every day. Every day there was another print.
Practical jokes really freak me out, but George Clooney, he's good.
He's the best of the best, for sure.